nomination, our Daisy Award is given each month, and nominations come in from all over our division, and they get blinded and sent to our shared governance group who vote on them each month, and they were so compelled by your write-up that you are this month's winner. So this was the write-up. April reflects basic human needs as described by the quality caring model. She cares not only for patients, but also for their family. Her work focuses on love and belonging, safety, patients' needs, and she incorporates those aspects in her daily plan of care. Her main goal of the day always is to provide safe care and make families and patients satisfied with the care they are receiving. April's work reflects how nurses can improve patients' healing and recovery. She makes every patient feel comfortable during their stay. She listens, reassures, and takes the time to do the things that promote self-esteem. A recent example, although there are many, was a patient who had had a bilateral knee surgery that was complicated by Parkinson's disease. She was shaking badly to the point that her hair got very knotted in the back. Do you remember this person?
I love this patient, yeah.
The patient was very upset and said, "I look stupid." April, recognizing that this was a huge issue for this patient, took her time trying to get the knots out of her hair. The patient was very worried that she was going to have to cut it. So it sounds like you have other skills other than nursing.
I was a hairdresser before I came in.
Were you really?
Yeah.
I was like, well, clearly it paid off. April spent a couple of hours in and out of the room because she didn't want her patient to have her hair cut off. She goes beyond her daily duties every day. She made this patient feel more comfortable and gain her confidence back by improving her appearance. What April had done demonstrates how a nurse's actions can impact patients' healing.
So nice, thank you.
This is your certificate. I'll give you these in your little swag bag. Okay. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
All right. Come over, Joe.
There you go.
Joe, thank you. I'm stealing your shine.
I know, someone's got it. So congratulations, April.
Thank you.
Were you surprised to see us?
I was very surprised to see you. This particular patient was a few months ago.
Was it?
Yeah.
But you remember her?
I do remember her. She was having a very rough flare-up of her Parkinson's after the surgery.
So she was post-op.
She was post-op, yes. And, they thought that it was going to be a little bit easier, but her Parkinson's wasn't cooperating with her. So her head was very aggressively moving for a few days. Against that pillow, she was having a lot of movement she couldn't control, and her hair had been taking the brunt of it.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean. So what happened that she was talking about that, and what made you pay attention to that for her?
I find that patients, even though they're patients, they don't want to look like they're patients, especially women. They still want to keep their makeup done or their hair done. They still want to look good. They don't want to look like they've been having a rough few days.
Yeah.
So, I try to always keep in mind that too, not just the tasks of nursing, but, also keeping in mind that they're a human.
And how they're feeling, it sounds like.
Right, and how they're feeling. And a lot of times, just a small thing like having their hair combed or bathing just makes them feel like they can kind of push through the next day.
So
or that day.
So what happened with this person? What was...
Well, I tried to address it at first and put it in a bun, and she wasn't happy with that. She felt like she looked stupid, so... When I came
nice
back,
try, April.
When I came back a few days later, it had gotten, the mats in the back of her head had gotten really bad and very tight to her scalp. So it was going to have to get cut out if we didn't take care of it. So I'd actually asked one of the nurses to bring in good conditioner. So she brought in her Pureology conditioner from home.
Wow.
And between me and one of the aides had helped me, we got a comb and we just, really coated her hair in the conditioner, and we worked from the bottom all the way to the scalp, and we actually had transported her in a wheelchair because she had knee surgery, bilateral knee surgery, so she can't get in the shower. So we transported her in the wheelchair towards the bathroom just so she could tilt her head back into the sink a little bit. Nice. It was a very long process, but at the end, and then we French braided it when we were all done with it, just to make sure that didn't happen again to her, because the Parkinson's flare was still going on, so it wasn't resolved.
What was it that in you that made you so aware? Because clearly this was so important to her. You know, she didn't really talk about her knees or her pain or, you know, at least in this story. And, you know, it was so much focused on her hair and how she felt about herself and how she felt like she looked. What was it that made you key into that? Like, how did you know how important that was to her?
I don't know. You just try to look at patients as a whole. And like I said, they don't want to be looked at as their patients, even though that they are.
Yeah.
You know, and having my background be in something like that. I just, the small things that can make people feel so much better about themselves during the day.
And you
know,
listened
can make
to
all the
her,
difference.
too. Yeah, I think
Right.
you heard what she said. You know, you were
Right.
listening to her in a way where you were really tuned into that, I think. And obviously it made such a difference for her. How long have you worked on this unit for a long time?
My entire career has been on this unit.
And how long's that been?
7 years. So I really can thank everything I know and who I am as a nurse to this unit. I've had the best manager who's always, and you know, he's instilled some things into me. Just if you're doing what's right for the patient, you're always doing what's right.
Nice.
So just keep doing that.
Well, you clearly have adopted that and made that your own.
I've
That's
tried,
obvious.
and it's a really great teamwork atmosphere. So I know if, you know, I want to do something like comb out all the knots, that someone's going to be on board with me to do it.
Right.
Someone's going to find time. We find time here. We work as a team.
Well, and that's an important point, right? Because it was a time-consuming endeavor, and you guys are busy, and you know it's hard to find that time. But I think
But she was very thankful, and she still was talking about it days later. So it made all the difference.
amazing. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
You know, you talked a little bit about your team here, and you've been here your whole career. What if you could give advice to you 7 years ago, or someone, you know, brand new coming into into practice and the work environment, you know, what would you tell him or her?
Oh, boy. To be honest, I did most of my clinicals at Tarsdale and Frankfurt campus. I'd never really been at Bucks campus, so I was a little bit upset when I was placed here for my capstone. I did my capstone on the school.
Because you went to nursing school here?
Yeah, I went to the nursing program here, and I was placed here on my capstone. And I was upset. I'd never been to Bucks. I thought it was a really small, whatever, hospital. And I had never seen anything like 2 North before. Like I said, from the minute you walk in, it's a very family atmosphere. It's extremely team-oriented. It is hustle and bustle, but it's in a different way. Like, everybody works together. And I just didn't know something like that existed, to be honest. I didn't think that atmosphere existed. So when that position opened up, I was really interested in interviewing for it and, you know, finding a place here.
And well, clearly they were interested in you as well, so you must have impressed them even as a capstone student.
Yes. And this is hilarious because I've gotten in trouble in nursing school before. I'll never forget, my instructor said, "You think it's a hair salon," and it's not.
Sometimes it is.
So I want to show this award for my hairdressing. Yeah.
But it is that and it isn't, right? It's more than that.
It is more than that. But you have to incorporate everything. It's not always just nursing care. Mm-hmm. Sometimes just looking at the person and seeing what they need as a whole to feel better that day.
And that's what good nurses do, right? I mean, you can see all that, and you obviously, you know, are really good at that. Not everyone is as astute sometimes, and when you're busy, it's harder to be.
It is very easy, I think, for the newer nurses to get caught up in tasks, which we see a lot, and I've precepted a few times. They get so focused on their tasks that they're forgetting to talk to the patient like they're a human, you know, and see what else that they need besides just medications and things like that.
Absolutely. So. Well, you're clearly expert at it. If you could give a piece of advice or what you think is the most important, you know, quality in yourself as a nurse, or what you think you've learned the most in these 7 years from the time you came as a new graduate to now?
It's really funny that you asked this because I feel like up until recently, I still question, you know, what is my strong suit in nursing? I don't really know. Like, I can look at all my coworkers here and kind of pinpoint exactly what their strong suits are. But I think that being an advocate, like a patient advocate, or like, I can be annoying, to be honest, if I want something for my patient.
It's a good quality.
And Joe has joked with me and said, you have a reputation for yourself. But to be honest, I still reflect back on him saying, if you're doing what's right for the patient, you're doing what's right. And I don't care how many times I have to call someone, you know, or who I have to push back on to get what the patient needs. And I'm always willing to do that. So I think a strong patient advocate.
Well, it sounds like
My
you
strong
have
suit.
absolutely nailed that. So I think you should, when you're sitting and trying to think about what your strong suit is, if you can't come up with anything, give me a call.
I
I'd
might
be
make
happy to-
people mad, but I get what the patient needs.
That's okay. That's really okay. Well, congratulations.
Thank you so
You know,
much.
we're incredibly lucky to have you here.
Thank
You
you.
clearly embody, you know, all the things that make a great nurse, and that's obvious. And I bet if I talked to your coworkers and said, you know, what is your strength, they wouldn't hesitate. So
Thank you so much.
congratulations.
Thank
And
you.
thank you. Thank you for all you do for
This
our
is so
department.
special. It really is.
It really, and you know, so well deserved. You know,
Thank you.
but thank you for all you do for our patients as well. You're clearly, you know, a strong advocate, and we need that, and we appreciate that.
Thank you.
So congratulations.
Thank you.